Birmingham, 2019. A quiet cul-de-sac. A figure in a black niqab steps out of a parked Mercedes. In her hand, a handgun. Her target, Sikander Ali, has just climbed out of his SUV. She raises the pistol and squeezes the trigger. Click! No gunshot, no flash. Just a mechanical failure and a heartbeat of silence before Ali dives back into his car, slams it into reverse, and rips away, caving in the assassin's door as he escapes. A miracle jam. A failed hit. And the start of a case that would stretch across borders and years. This is the story of Aimee Betro, a Wisconsin woman who flew to Britain and tried to execute a family feud on a Birmingham doorstep. And the long international hunt that brought her back to face justice. The feud began in July 2018, inside a small clothing shop in Birmingham. On one side, shop owner Aslam Mohammed and his family. On the other, Mohammed Aslam and his son, Mohammed Nabil Nazir. A dispute turned into a brawl. The shop was damaged, people were hurt, and something ugly lodged in the aftermath. Humiliation, anger, a thirst for payback. In the months that followed, that grudge curdled into a plan. The targets would be Mohammed himself or his family, including his son, Sikander Ali. Enter Aimee Betro. On paper, she didn't fit the profile. A 40-something from West Allis, Wisconsin, with a background in childhood development and design. No real criminal history. But online connections have a way of pulling people into places they don't belong. Betro met Nazir on a dating app. The messages turned into visits. She flew to the UK twice. The relationship grew fast, messy, and intimate. And somewhere along the line, it turned operational. By mid-2019, Betro was no longer just a visitor. She was an asset. On 22nd August 2019, she flew into Manchester. Officially, it was for a birthday celebration. Unofficially, preparation started. Burner phones were bought. Movement patterns were mapped. On 7th September, wearing a summer dress, a hoodie, and flip-flops, she walked into a used car lot, used the name Becky Booth, and paid cash for a used Mercedes E240. That would be the stakeout car, the approach car, the getaway. That evening, CCTV caught the Mercedes driving in convoy with a red Volvo linked to Nazir and Aslam, circling the target street in Yardley, Measham Grove, again and again. By around 7:30, the Mercedes stopped and idled. Betro waited. 45 minutes. Dusk fading. Gun ready. Face hidden. At 8:10 p.m., Sikander Ali pulled up in a black SUV. He stepped out. The Mercedes door opened. The niqab-clad figure moved fast, arm extended, pistol aimed. Click! The gun jammed. Ali launched himself back into his car and floored it, smashing into the open Mercedes door as he reversed away and disappeared down the road. The perfect plan had a stupid flaw, and that stupid flaw saved a life. But the night wasn't over. Hours later, Aimee Betro dumped the damaged Mercedes in a side street, changed out of the niqab into distinctive patterned trousers and toe-capped shoes, called a taxi under a fake name, and came back after midnight. 3 shots tore through the silence and the window glass of the Ali family home. 2 through the bay, 1 through a bedroom. No one was hit. The house was empty. The message wasn't. From a burner phone, she sent taunting texts to the shopkeeper. "Where are you hiding?" "Stop playing hide and seek." And the line that still turns stomachs. "You're lucky it jammed." Who is it? Your family or you? Pick one. Then she vanished. By 9th September, Betro was on a flight out of the UK. 3 days later, Nazir left too. To the families on the ground, it looked like the shooter had been a woman in Islamic dress. Tabloids reached for easy labels. The detectives did something harder. They built a case from fragments: a dented car door, a glove, a taxi drop-off, a string of burner phones, and then a second plot. Because from the United States, Betro and Nazir tried to weaponize the police. She mailed packages from Illinois, ammo and gun parts, to a rival in Derbyshire under yet another alias. Nazir then anonymously tipped off UK officers to raid the man. At first, the frame worked. The target was arrested. But the ruse didn't survive contact with forensics. The parcels, the car, the phones, traces converged. DNA matched. The unknown woman on CCTV started to look a lot like a very known American. The UK's National Crime Agency called in partners. The FBI joined. Leads were pushed across borders. Months became years. In June 2024, British authorities obtained an international warrant. In July, nearly 5 years after the failed hit, Armenian police quietly moved in. Aimee Betro was arrested. 2 days later, she was in court. By January 2025, she was on a plane, under escort, heading back to Britain. Her co-conspirators had already faced the music. In late 2024, Mohammed Nabil Nazir was convicted and sentenced to 32 years. His father, Mohammed Aslam, received 10. The grudge that started in a shop aisle had blown back on the men who lit the fuse. Then it was Betro's turn. August 2025, Birmingham Crown Court. The prosecution laid out a case that didn't rely on a single confession. It didn't need one. CCTV of the convoying cars. CCTV of the clothing before the disguise. The car purchased under a false name. The abandoned Mercedes with the crumpled door. The DNA on the items. The burner phones. The texts. And a video from Nazir's phone. Yes, really, of the same model handgun jamming during a test firing. A rehearsal fail that foretold the real-world jam. In the dock, the woman from Wisconsin sat almost expressionless. When she testified, her defense was simple and unbelievable. It wasn't her. She said another American woman with a similar voice and the same brand of shoes just happened to be there, using the same kind of phone, doing the same things. A terrible coincidence. The jury listened. Then they spent nearly 21 hours working through the evidence. On 12th of August 2025, they came back. Guilty of conspiracy to murder. Guilty of possessing a firearm with intent to cause fear of violence. Guilty of illegally importing ammunition for that Derbyshire frame-up. Majority verdicts on the first two. Unanimous on the last. No reaction from the doc. No tears. Just a long, silent walk back downstairs. Sentencing was set for the 21st of August. The likely outcome? Decades. The message from the bench and from the agencies that chased her across half the planet was blunt. You can run, you can change names, you can ship parts and burn phones and hide behind costumes. But if you bring a foreign grudge to a British doorstep, the case will follow you home. Strip away the headlines, and there's a core truth here. A jammed gun saved a man's life. The investigation that followed, methodical, slow, international, saved something else. The rule that you don't get to terrorize families and then disappear into a time zone. The law will move. It will take the hours. It will wait you out. There's also a human question the court can't answer. What flips a person like Aimee Betro from tourist to triggerman? Was it love curdled into loyalty? Grooming dressed up as romance? A fantasy of significance that spiraled into violence? Only she knows the why. The record shows the what. A shop fight, a plot, a plane ticket, a Mercedes paid in cash, a black niqab in a suburban street, a trigger pull that failed, 3 bullets in empty rooms, threatening texts, a second scheme to frame a rival, 5 years of running, and then a door opening in Armenia and a quiet arrest she didn't see coming. In the end, it wasn't bravado or brutality that decided this case. It was evidence. It was patience. It was borders that don't protect you when the papers are in order and the agencies talk to each other. The feud ended where most feuds do. Not with victory, but with prison. This is CaseDepth. We don't just tell you what happened, we expose what almost did.